Good day, I am Denzel Chetty and welcome to Let's Talk Academic Integrity. In the studio with me, I have the renowned academics that were with us in the last show. Tennyson Mokuchini, Professor in the College of Human Sciences, and Al-Noreen Grief, Senior Lecturer in the College of Human Sciences. Welcome back, guys.
Thanks, Denzel.
Thank you.
Both Tennyson and Al-Noreen are instructors in this MOOC entitled Academic Writing Fundamentals 101. Welcome to the show. Al-Noreen, let me begin with you. You have just facilitated or finished facilitating this week one, this exciting journey. Can you briefly recap for those students? What were the themes in week one?
Okay, so in week one, we covered 3 themes. Each one of the themes obviously has its subsections, but we basically looked at when you are approaching academic writing, what are the 3 sort of steps to that? And the first one was preparing for your writing, then presenting your ideas as writing, and the sort of register that you would follow in academic writing. So those were the 3 main aims. We looked at what you do before you start writing, what you do when you write, and the way that you package your writing when you do so.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now. You facilitated this MOOC and plus your own teaching experience.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you've observed from this week that you facilitated, together with your long journey that you went through, that students commonly make mistakes in when they're writing an essay?
Wow, okay. Well, the common mistakes obviously range between the simplest things to more serious offenses. But if I could generalize it a bit, often students think of what not to do in order to not be guilty of certain behaviors that Tennyson will actually elaborate a little bit on, I'm sure. But when you are approaching academic writing and you're doing it with an intent on academic integrity, you shouldn't just focus on what not to do. You should actually be focusing on what to do.
Okay.
So part of that is to have a very strong, rigorous process that underlies it. So a good research and reading before you start, stuff like that. It's almost like the story of the 3 little pigs, right? You can start and build your house with straw or with wood, or you can start with a strong base.
Right.
And that really is what integrity is. It's starting off of a strong base and instilling certain behaviors that make sure that you're not guilty of the aspects that we would guard against.
Yeah, so what you're trying to say is the foundation is preparation, key to that. And if you don't prepare, we get into week 2 with Tennyson, you end up plagiarizing.
No.
Tennyson, how would you define plagiarism?
There is no nicer way of saying this. Plagiarism is the practice of taking someone else's work and portraying it as if it were your own. Really, it boils down to a type of stealing of people's work without acknowledging it. It is a type of fraud, and it's really about doing those types of things and not telling the truth about it.
Sure, well, that sounds interesting. Tennyson, now, you know, your international experience is something that we always bounce back on. If we look at the current challenges confronting higher education institutions globally, plagiarism seems to be a significant challenge, but not just for undergraduate, but also postgraduate students as well. If we had to define, or if you have to say, how does plagiarism impact academic integrity? I mean, the core of it is academic integrity. That's what we're dealing with. So how does plagiarism actually impact academic integrity?
Before I respond, I think it's important just to quantify how big and how bad an issue this is. Up to 75% of all students actually admit to cheating at one point in their course of study. So we know that there are some who don't admit. And if you factor that in, we're close to 100% of all students. And most of all talk about plagiarism as a thing that they've done. Lifting work that belongs to someone else and just injecting it into their work and hoping no one finds out. So many view it as a small issue, but really if you think about it, it's a gateway issue to other bigger academic crimes. Yes. So we've got an upsurgence of more serious transgressions, things like people deciding to cheat in exams and all sorts of things. So really at the very core of trying to maintain an honest and responsible scholarship is the fact that we need to begin to tap into the very thing that people are doing all around and have normalized. And that is the core of what plagiarism poses for us. It is the beginning of much bigger transgressions, and unless we attend to that, we are eroding everything about scholarship.
Sure. This sounds like an exciting week ahead, and I'm sure the students will appreciate the type of discussions that we'll put forward. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for once again visiting us in the studio, on some of your thoughts with the students, and I'm sure the week ahead looks very exciting. I want to end the second episode with this quote by Samuel Johnson. I'm quoting so that I don't plagiarize. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, and knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. I think that's a good quote for us to attend. I end with this quote, and I look forward for us meeting once again in our next episode. So thank you once again, and see you in our next episode of Let's Talk Academic Integrity.
Thank you.